Welcome everybody tonight with Master Cartoonist Guy Gilchrist. We're so excited to have Guy here. We'll let Guy unmute himself. Hi Guy. Can you unmute yourself? We can see you there.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Loud and clear.
Now, where are you guys broadcasting from?
We are in New York City.
New York. The town's so nice they named it twice.
That's right. Okay.
And you are in
Nashville, right?
I'm in a pineapple in the bottom.
Love it.
Okay, great. So before we start, we want to make some introductory comments, and we have some special guests that we've invited on to this event.
To be co-hosts with us because we couldn't handle it all ourselves. So take it away.
Yeah, here we go.
Now what starts with the letter C? Cookie starts with C. Let's think of other things that starts with C. Who cares about other things? C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. Oh, cookie starts with C. Oh, C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. Oh, cookie starts with C. Hey, you know what? A round cookie with one bite out of it looks like a C. A round donut with one bite out of it also looks like a C. It is not as good as a cookie. The moon sometimes looks like a C, but you can't eat that. So, C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. Yeah, C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. Oh, cookie starts with C. Yeah, cookie starts with C. Oh boy, cookie starts with C.
Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm Felicia.
And I'm Kaju, the co-producer of Talking Taiwan.
Yes.
Welcome.
And we're your hosts for tonight. And in case any of you don't know about Talking Taiwan, we'll let you know a little bit about us. We are the Talking Taiwan podcast, and we are the longest running podcast about anything related to Taiwan. And we're a 2021 Golden Crane Award winner. So we cover anything related to Taiwan about people, news, and stories connected to Taiwan's global community. And the reason that we have Guy here was because we had actually interviewed Dr. Karen Tsai, who during the pandemic had raised over $150,000 for PPE through her nonprofit, Donate PPE. And during the pandemic, Dr. Karen actually had this idea that she wanted to create a children's book, so that children would know how to deal with the pandemic, because it was very hard for kids to understand. And she reached out to Guy to be the illustrator, and she came up with this book that's called The Monster Dance. And so Guy was the illustrator of Monster Dance, and we've wanted to have him on the podcast as a guest to talk about his wonderful work, because he is the cartoonist behind the Muppets comic strip and Jim Henson's cartoonist. He's also done work with Tom and Jerry, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Looney Tunes, Disney, and many, many more. And we really couldn't capture the artistry of Guy without having this event here, because as a podcast, it's an audio form. So we really want to share his talent with you today. So that's why we've invited him here. So the Guy will be doing some live drawing, and we'll have a little time to ask him some questions. And then also we wanted to let you know that if you want a chance to win the drawings that Guy is doing today, that you'll have a chance to do that if you donate to Talking Taiwan. We had asked people to donate on GoFundMe, but it turns out that we're not we're not supposed to do that according to their rules, because we got this email saying that we should not be asking for people to make any donations in return for goods or services. So if you have not already donated and you want to be entered for a chance to win, just donate $25, and you can do it through PayPal or Zelle. And we will drop that information into the chat so that you can do that. And you have plenty of time to do that until the end of the month. So we'll put that information there.
Also, Guy, I brought a little something. If you need some accompaniment, just say the word. It's a 78 Guild D35.
Oh, well then, all right, you're playing, I'm singing.
No. I would only accompany you. And you'd have to tell me the chords.
I don't know.
Patreon.
I don't know either.
Good. Well, then we're jamming.
Sounds great.
Okay. So, all right. So without further ado, I think that we can turn it over to Guy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come on, you guys.
Okay.
We got you.
All right, I'm going to warm up. Okay, I'm going to warm up. Okay, I've been trying to warm up for 45 years. Let's see if it Okay, here's a little ditty from Dave Clark 5, 1965. A moldy oldie just like me. It's right that I should care about you and try to make you happy when you're blue. It's right to feel the way I do, because I love you. Tricky part. Give me one kiss and I'll be happy. Just to be with you. Give me another chance to be me, because I love you. All right, here's that tricky chord. It's wrong to say I don't think of you. Oh, baby, when you say these things, you know it makes me blue. Give me one kiss and I'll be happy. Just to be with you. Give me a chance to be near. Because I love you. Because I love you. And I do. I love each and every one of you. And, you know, the Muppets universe is really all about love, right? And I know you don't know that song, but we'll do a tiny little bit of one that I know that you know. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Okay, you know that one, right? I knew you would.
Yes, a cookie is good enough for me.
Okay. I heard that in the beginning. Hi. And so this is the guitar that I play. I'm really not in a pineapple under the sea. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. And this is a guitar that I play when I'm out playing my own songs in what we call songwriter rounds around Nashville. And it's always interesting, you know, drawing on guitars, because and this is going to feed into what we're talking about today. When I'm drawing things on guitars, I can't use the shapes. I can't draw in pencil first before I ink the things. I need to take out markers, which, by the way, when I'm doing my original artwork for books and all of the things that you've seen, I never use markers. You can if you want, but I kind of don't. I use brushes and pens and things like that you dip into ink. But this is something that was a fun way for me to combine the two loves of my creative life, which is, of course, writing and drawing cartoons and stories for you, and also writing songs and singing them. And I'll give you a big preview of something that no one has seen yet. And this, again, who likes to shred? I know, right? So I actually just over the last few days painted these. There's this one. Thanks, Rich. And then there's this one, Cowabunga Dudes. And I'm sure that we'll get to drawing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sometime today.
Wow.
And with these things, as I said, I can't draw these out with the shapes that are so important. But, I've drawn these characters, for instance, for many, 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 many years, more years than many of you have been alive. And so, I have a lot of ingrained, memory in my head that goes out, into my hands and through my pens. And so I'm able to do this. When I was a little boy, I used to look at the printed page. For instance, we'll use this as the printed page because we were talking about my dear friend, Dr. Karen Tsai. This is the book that she and I did together, empowering children during the pandemic that we all went through. Monster Dance. And the monster, of course, is COVID. But okay, so there's the monster. And we made a kind of Muppety monster. I love monsters, and all the way back to when I was a little boy and they would show all those old black and white movies on TV, Frankenstein and the Wolfman and things. I always loved monsters. Now, I can't help it that monsters are not horrifying when I draw them, they just come out cute. Sorry, I draw cute. But, when I was a little boy, I would look at the newspaper comics, like ones that I do. And let me show you what I'm talking about here. I'm sort of kind of prepared. So this is a Muppets comic strip that's 40 years old. This is the real drawing. But what you're really seeing here is called inking. Okay, the drawing is underneath and it's erased. But when I was a little boy, and how many people think of cartooning is that you think that this drawing, and here's Nancy, this is from a book that I did. Nancy sleeping with her teddy bear. And again, this is done with ink, ink that looks like this, that I use brushes and pens with. And I hear this all the time. Wow, you draw so perfectly and you never make a mistake and all of that. Baloney. I'm the person that makes the most mistakes in drawing of anyone on this podcast. not just because I draw the most, but because with every drawing, you make mistakes, and it's called learning. And so in my head, and I hope in yours, whenever you make a mistake during this podcast, when you're drawing, don't freak out. Take your piece of paper, crumple it all up, stomp it all over the ground and everything, and start screaming, because that's fun, right? And cartoons are supposed to be fun. Every time we make a mistake, and I'll make one immediately, I'm sure, when we start drawing. And get your stuff ready to draw with me, because I'm going to be explaining stuff, okay? And I'm pretty good at that. But we make mistakes, and that's how we learn. When you were a little tiny baby, when you were learning how to walk, you had to, fall down a whole bunch of times, before you figured it out. And that's how it is with every single thing in drawing and in life. We make mistakes, and that's how we get better. If you get bored drawing, it's usually because you've done what we call plateaued. You're as far as you're going to go, because you're not trying to get better and better and better, and you're not looking at people's artwork that are better than you and getting the instruction and finding the instruction to want to achieve that next level. Okay. But you didn't come here to hear me talk and play the guitar. You came here to see me draw. And I'm going to do that. But I want you to know that beneath this, and beneath the ideas on those guitars that I've shown you, and even when you see paintings that I've done like this is a little golden book I did a long, long time ago. And here is the original artwork for that book cover. Underneath all of these are lots and lots of drawings and many, many mistakes. And then we figure it out, and that's how we get something that is pleasing and nice. Okay? And so let's start. And I hope you guys have your stuff out. Okay, I will teach you some magic tricks as well today. Okay, now let's just make sure before I start and I embarrass myself in front of everyone. Let's just make sure that when I washed my hair today, I didn't put my brain in upside down, because sometimes that happens. Hang on. We're going to make sure that I'm drawing correctly. Okay, Rich, just cross your fingers on this, okay? All right, here we go. Let's say, Okay, can you see this? Oh, Rich. Oh, guys, I'm really sorry. We're going to have to cancel the podcast. I'm sorry. My brain's upside down. So we're going to have to either flip the camera or something. I'm going to have to keep drawing upside down all day. This is really, really, really embarrassing. I'm freaking out. Oh my goodness. Meep, 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 meep.
Some applause for that. It's amazing.
Okay. Okay. Hang on a second. Hang on. I got to do this. Okay. I'm sure that you guys, just like me, when you wash your hair, you do the same thing that I do, right? You unscrew the top of your head, right? Okay. Then you reach down to get the shampoo sometimes soap drops, shampoo drops and everything. That's when you could have the problem where your brain falls down into the bathtub. But anyway, so you scrub your hair and everything, you shampoo your hair, pick up your brain, put it back inside, screw the top of your head back on. And sometimes your brain's upside down. That's what happened to me today. Rich, just here, show them some of the studio and stuff while I put my brain in correctly, okay? This is embarrassing, Rich. Unscrew, 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 unscrew. Flip. Brain juice all over the place. Seems like my brain's in the right place. Now I'm going to screw it back on. Hopefully, Rich, we're back at a place where my brain... Hang on, I'm going to have to fix my hair. It's weird, I never screw my head on backwards, but my brain, sometimes it goes upside down. Okay, let's see.
Trying to draw something again.
All right, we're going to try to draw something again. Let's just make sure.
Try Kermit this time. Try Kermit this time.
Okay, let me see. See, so I started with this light bulb shape, see? I'm going to try to get that more even. See how light I'm drawing? Very important. So, but I have this light bulb shape. See, it's an old-fashioned light bulb. Can you see the light bulb shape? It's also called a pear shape because, see, if you look at it upside down, it kind of looks like a pear, see? And then on the top of it, it's like I'm going to take a ping pong ball. Here we have a ping pong ball down here, see? And if I cut that ping pong ball in half, I get two halves. And one part of the ping pong ball is going to go here. One's going to go here. And then this is called my horizon line, okay? The top of the head. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to make, like when you squint because you're so happy? So I'm going to make little squinty happy lines. And then I'm going to make these ovals, see? Over the happy lines. Then I'm going to emphasize how happy I am here by making that a little bit heavier, see? Now I'm pretty happy with that shape. Now, when we're happy, our cheeks do that. Our mouth curls upward like that. And if we're laughing, if we're really happy, our mouth is opening. We can see the tongue. Oh, he's really, really happy. His cheeks are getting stretched, see? And he's so happy that I'm going to actually widen here's his chin. Hi-ho. Kermit the Frog here. Now, did you all get that? Great. Okay. So, I'm going to explain a little bit about shapes, okay? Now, with, I'm going to leave Kermit alone for a little while. And we're going to talk about some other shapes, okay? Let's talk about ovals, okay? Now, one of the things...
Hey guys, let's ask people if the kids, are there people that are on in this call that want to draw? If you want to take a minute and get paper and pencil, you can follow.
Oh, gosh, I thought that we...
Yeah.
thought that we were doing that already.
Yes, I don't know. And just in case people are not prepared, if you don't have a paper, yes, Jean has a paper. Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Make sure everyone's got a paper.
While everybody grabs their paper and pencils and gets ready, okay, for this, then why don't we, Felicia, answer a couple of questions and then we'll get back to drawing and everyone will be ready. Okay.
Okay. Oh, someone wants you to show Kermit. Can you show the finished Kermit that you just drew?
Oh, sure.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Okay, great.
Okay. What
So actually I have a question, and I have two other people had questions before, so I'll ask a question first. I'm wondering, since you've been a comic book illustrator for such a long time, like, do you miss that? Because that's a very different kind of illustrating, because you have to tell the story, have the dialogue and all that. What do you miss that?
No. No. I did comic strips, for the newspapers, and of course around the world, many times those comic strips are printed, in monthly magazines and all that sort of stuff for Europe, etc. But no, I really don't. And here's why. Number one, you never get a break. When I was drawing Nancy, I drew that for 23 years. And people go, oh, I read you in the Sunday funnies. But really and truly, it's every day. It's not just Sunday. And so that's 365 stories that I'm writing and illustrating every single year. And in order to, and that also means that I can't do it when I sort of, if I don't feel like it that day, maybe now I feel like drawing every day, but sometimes, you're sick or something like that happens. But the newspaper comes out every single day. And so it's a real commitment. It's the part of a job that's really a job, I don't miss it also because I have many, many creative outlets. And books are one of them. Television shows are another one. Going out to Comic Cons and visiting with everyone and drawing the pictures for you guys is another one. Teaching art and online and all of that, and doing demos and things is another one. So I have many, and of course, writing songs and stuff is another creative outlet. Art is really and truly my heart. Yeah. As long as, so as we, when you're asking that, it's sort of like this. Actors and actresses, okay, and also authors. So you finish a movie or a television show is finally over after a year or 2 seasons or whatever it is, or a movie wraps, right? We'll use that. A movie wraps up and you loved the character that you played in that movie. And people will know you as that character if it's a success. But then, and you stay friends with all of those people, or most of those people, you stay in contact with and things, and you're always identified with that part of your story, your life story, something creative that you did. But then, the next month or something, if you're fortunate enough, you make another movie. And now you're engaged again, and you put everything that you have into that. And then so on and so on and so on through the years. And that's the way it is with me. When I was doing Monster Dance with Dr. Sai, I was fully engaged with that. And I can always go back and return to that creativity and that heart, by just opening up that book and seeing that. And for some people, that will be the Guy Gilchrist that they know. For other people, it will be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or the Muppets or Nancy or Tom and Jerry or Bugs Bunny or any of those characters. And I can go and revisit those characters all the time, and the teams that we had in those days, and all of the fun that we had in those days. But today's another day. Like, we have a white piece of paper right here that's waiting for something to be drawn on. And when we're drawing that, I'm going to be fully engaged in that. Can you imagine how bad a Tom and Jerry cartoon would be if I was working on that Tom and Jerry cartoon and I was thinking of Elmo?
So Guy, that leads me to
secret.
another question that somebody asked, and then after this we'll go to the drawing, because I can see some of the kids there holding up their papers.
Yay!
Yeah, so one of our audience members asks, of all the characters that you've created, which is your favorite, and which character best represents you?
Okay. Well, connecting those two questions, okay? The connecting and the question before, okay, about the creativity thing. So, remember I was talking about, like, how bad would a Tom and Jerry cartoon be if all I was thinking of was Elmo, right? So, when I'm engaged in creating a new project, it becomes my favorite. It's the only one that matters. I am completely all in on whatever it happens to be that I'm doing. For instance, Bugs Bunny in the Looney Tune universe has its own vibe. It's quite different than the Muppet Show, or Muppet Babies, or Fraggle Rock, or Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And when you're a cartoonist and you're writing the stories, sometimes you write with people, sometimes they're writing with you, and you're illustrating it. Sometimes you have illustration help, you're directing it, whatever it happens to be. You're telling a story, and you want to do that the best that you possibly can. So whatever character I'm working on at that moment is going to be my favorite, because it's the only one that matters. Now, as I look back over my career, I'm hoping I haven't met my favorite character yet, because I draw every day and I'm creating new things all the time. But, okay, so I think I've answered that. Now, which character do I identify with the most? Well, when I was a little kid, and the very first character I ever made up, his name is Mud Pie. And he's a little gray cat. And I wrote a story, actually a greeting card for Mother's Day for my mom. And this little gray cat was supposed to represent all of the kids. And I don't know if I have one of those books up here. Hang on a minute. Let's see. Do I have a Mud Pie book up here that I can show you? I don't know.
Isn't that the purple one right there? Purple one right there?
Purple one right there.
Nope.
Well, okay. Well, I'll draw a Mud Pie. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, I used to really identify with Mud Pie because he was a character, and I'll teach you how to draw him in a little while. And you can find his children's books and his comic strips and stuff all over the world. I really identified with him. And I have a very soft spot in my heart for him because he's the first character that I ever did that was published, that was my own, and all of that. But, now that I'm older, I think back to the very first famous Muppet. Now, question for the audience. Who was the first famous Muppet?
Oh, yes. Okay. If anybody knows, can you put it in the chat?
Crickets.
Because if you can guess
all over the place.
Yeah, I think I have a special prize if somebody wants to. Oh, someone says Kermit.
Wrong.
Okay. I get 2 Kermits. Okay. Rolf. Someone said Rolf.
Rolf the dog. That's right.
All right, Asia. Asia's the winner. I have something for Asia. I know Asia is gonna love this. Let me come back.
Yeah, so
Rolf the dog here. I'll tell you, but in the 1960s, I was hot.
Yeah, Rolf.
That's impressive.
Rolf was the first famous Muppet. He's the first Muppet that the public knew by name. And he was on the Jimmy Dean show. You guys know Jimmy Dean, pork sausage and country, breakfast sausage and stuff. But Jimmy Dean was a famous singer and actor, and he had a television show on in the late 60s. And before Sesame Street, before the Muppet Show, before all of that, Rolf was the resident comedian on Jimmy Dean. And so a lot of people got to know Rolf. He was actually created for Purina Dog Chow, I think, commercial. And he became so popular that, you know what? He even co-hosted talk shows. And, and you can actually, we have a picture here. Hey, Rick, I'll take this for a second. So we have a picture actually commemorating that. That's a signed picture of, that's Frank Oz. That's signed by Frank, my buddy Frank. And you can see that, and there's Jim. That's Jim Henson. And this is around 1966. And you see the character that they're with. That's right in front of me when I draw. And there's the Jim that you know. That's more of the Jim Henson. But that's Jim when Rolf became the original famous Muppet. So I would say that as I've gotten older, Rolf is sort of the, resident philosopher, and he's been in show business a long time. So I think I identify with him.
All right, so I have this, and I know that Asia is going to love this. I have this special, there's like I think 50 different Kermit stickers, and this is for Asia. And I know that Asia happens to love Kermit, so we're going to send this to you for guessing that Rolf was the first Muppet. And now...
No, the famous one.
Most famous. Oh, the most famous one? Or the first one, right? The first one. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, so I know there's a lot of people that just came on the call. Guy's going to start doing some demos. So if you don't have a piece of paper, grab a piece of paper, and we're going to turn it back over to Guy.
Okay. So when we draw, we want to think about our characters want to come to life. And that's what animation really is, that we're trying to create the idea that our characters have emotions and that they have movement. And it's something that I think about all the time.
Excited to have Guy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, well, you'll be sorry about that. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from little old you. I'm gonna write words oh so sweet, they're gonna knock me off my feet. A lot of kisses at the bottom, honey, I'll be glad I got them. I'm gonna write and say I hope you're feeling better, and sign it with a big cartoon. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a long, long letter, 'cause I don't even believe in this old Zoom. Hi. And we're back. Is everybody ready to party on paper now?
Hey.
Yes, we're ready. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Thank you, Guy.
And thank you, doctors, for getting to your patients. Okay. Okay. Before we were, okay, so here we go. When I was a kid, Walter Lantz was very important to me, the creator of Woody Woodpecker, and also my mom. And, my mom was a waitress. She was a single mom, and she would take me with her to work. And she would put the newspaper comics in front of me. And she would show me that many of the characters that I was looking at in the comics could be made with ovals of different, some were thin, some were fat, that kind of thing. And the very first character she ever showed me how to draw was Bugs Bunny. And it's interesting because then I became the artist for Bugs Bunny. But you see, underneath Bugs Bunny, there's this oval, you see? And he's looking this way. You see that? See? He's looking this way. And then, so if this is really the center of his face, then my mom would show me that his nose would be there. And then he has a smile that gets broke up, see, like that, right? And since this is closer to us than this, in this smile, this is bigger than that, see? And he's all fluffy here. But wait, what's going on with this? There's no eyes. I know. But on each side of his nose is another oval. Watch. There's one oval. There's two ovals. See? And then he's looking this way. I'm going to have both of his eyeballs going that way. And what are those? They're shapes. They're ovals, you see? And when we draw the eyebrows in, that gives him expression. Take a couple of ears in here, one on either side of his head, because if we put them both on the same side of his head, he'll look weird. I'll smooth that out a little bit. And now, see, so his front tooth. And then we're going to see a little bit of his smile on this side. And then when I get to the center of it, I'm going to make more of a smile from that side because this is closest to us. And what's up, Doc? But see if I do that, that changes his expression, doesn't it? See, the character has life. And let's say Bugs is all freaked out, okay? Freaked out Bugs. Now, I have this same oval, right? But watch what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do this real fast. So you may or may not be able to follow along with me, but this is the stuff that I learned. Because what happens when we're freaked out? What happens? We go like this, right? Okay, so let's do that. Watch. Oh. What do you mean? Daffy Duck's got his own show. Now, you see, everything that I did there is the same shape. And as I was learning this stuff from my mom, I started to watch a man on television named Walter Lantz. And Walter Lantz's most famous character, well, he looks like this. I'm going to have him look this way, and I'm going to use the same oval. Watch. But this time he's going to have a beak. This is behind this. This is in front. Now I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Guess who? Ha 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 ha. It's Woody Woodpecker. And all sorts of wonderful characters can be created with just this oval. Many, many characters. I don't know. Which one should I do now? How about this one? I'm going to make this oval a little bit smaller. And then Bert. We can even take this oval, same oval, and put it on its side. See? Now, like I'm drawing the same oval. Watch. I'm drawing the same oval that I just did. Remember? Okay. And I'm going to split it right there. But now I'm going to turn it on its side. I'm going to find a center. Right now, it kind of looks like, I don't know, a rugby ball or a football or something like that. But in the center, I'm going to make a nose like that. And on either side, I'm going to put an oval, another oval, another oval, just like that egg from Bugs Bunny. And then do the mouth like I did with Kermit earlier. And I'm going to widen this out a little bit. But I'm very comfortable with my shapes, you see. There's an oval, see? That's an oval right there. Here's another oval right here. And then right here. Over. I am so sorry for eating crackers in the bed. I will never, ever eat crackers in the bed again. Now, ovals don't just ovals and those shapes of pears and things, that's not just for heads. See, bodies are made up of shapes too, see? See, here's an oval right here. And here's an oval right here. And see, there's an oval and another oval. This is smaller, this is bigger. And when we put them together and we connect them, we get a bean shape, you see? And this is like a tube, to think of like a mailing tube, or a tube that paper towels would come on. I'm going to draw another tube here and an oval. And I'm going to draw another tube here and then an oval. See that? Now look at your own hand and pretend that this is the oval. And then we're going to draw little tubes coming out of that oval. If we connect them all, it makes a half an oval. Watch. So here's a half an oval. Here's a tube. Here's a half an oval. Here's a tube. You see that? Now watch. Now we're going to put in some details. This is in front of that. Now, when we're drawing clothing, remember that if this tube is Ernie's arm, then aren't his clothes over that? So we want to show that, okay, by remembering that the sleeve is going to be over. Now, when we fold, okay, you see how we get creases? The creases happen wherever we bend something. So if we bend his sweater, we get creases, see? And they go over the tube that is his arm. Everybody get that? And those stripes, they follow the contour. That means the way it goes. It's a little journey here. So here's a shirt. And the shirt, if this is his body, underneath his clothes, the shirt's going to be a little bit bigger, you see? And here's the contour, the way that it goes, okay? So our stripes are going to follow a contour, see? And then I'm going to go up here. When we look at a hand, we can see there's a little fatty part right there. See, there's a fold, just like in clothes, see? And you see there's a fold right here. Watch. Ooh, mistake, yay me. And then just like we did before, we remember that clothes make folds and that they're a little bit larger than the skin underneath, right? Down here, if he's wearing sneakers, and see that? So now sneakers this is going to support his body weight. So is he standing up kind of straight? Yeah, he kind of is. So his weight, some of it is here, most of it is here, and then some of it's over here. So that's why this is kind of straight, because we don't want him to fall over. Okay. Here's the center. So I'm going to put some sneaker laces on. Then I'm going to put that floppy white part of his sneaker there. And put it on the ground. So here's the ground. Put it on the ground. It's got a couple of laces. There's his sneaker. Here's his pants. I'm going to do the same thing I did. This is pointing this way. So here's the center there. What did I do first? I put on some laces. And you see, these are all ovals. Look. Then I'm just adding details to it, see? And here's that floppy white part. Here's the ground. Look at, he's got a shadow now. And since there's no fold here, there's no fold on his pants right there. So you see, these things that I'm showing you are not just for heads, but we try to find the fullness and the life and the volume in everything we do. Did you all get that? Are you understanding that part?
Thank you so much for sharing the thought process. I see, like, Peter's kids may have. Do you want to show what you're? You want to? I'll turn you on, Peter. Do you want your kids to show? Okay. Oh,
yeah.
There's Ernie. Oh, that's beautiful. He's got the bricks there too.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else want to show what they've drawn? Jean has something. Jean, would you like to show something?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, Bugs Bunny. Jean did a Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Oh my goodness. And an Ernie. Wow. That's beautiful.
I love the Ernie.
I love that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, great. And
lovely.
okay. And Aunt Loretta, I see Aunt Loretta had something. Aunt Loretta, would you like to speak and show what you've drawn?
I drew something, but it keeps getting...
Lee's drawn something.
Lee.
Oh, Lee's done Kermit and Bugs Bunny and okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
The things. Wonderful.
Well, here's Aunt Loretta.
Okay, Aunt Loretta, do you want to show what you've done? Oh, Bugs Bunny, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh, Kermit. Wow, that's great. Your Kermit's great. And Ernie, wow. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Okay.
Well, so we have a lot of people that have drawn Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you a couple of secrets.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to have to follow me. I'm going to kind of draw a little fast. And the nice thing about this being recorded, of course, is that you'll be able to go back, and look at the highlights of this and practice, okay? Because, I'll tell you a wonderful story about now, Walter Lantz, the creator of not only Woody Woodpecker, but Chilly Willy and many, many other characters. And in case you guys don't know who Woody Woodpecker is, So I have this old thing from the 1950s, I think. That's Woody. And he's a very, very, very popular character. And he was huge. And I'm going to walk over here. Hi, Giant Kermit.
Hi ho.
Okay. And I'm going to show you something. This is an autographed picture of Walter with his characters. And here's a picture of Woody Woodpecker that Walter made me. This was back in 1970 something. And I'm going to tell you how this all happened. By the way, this is the wall that I look at every day when I'm home. And now I'm going to pass this over to Richie. And I'm going to tell you a little story, and then we're going to do this thing. So when I was 10 years old, I had just discovered the guitar. So I said, well, maybe I'll be Elvis Presley. That didn't work out so well. But I also, my whole existence was all about making people smile. And Walter Lantz was the most famous animator in the world. He had his own show, and it came on every day after school. And it was the Woody Woodpecker show, but Walter Lantz would come on, and before every cartoon, he would show you how to draw Woody Woodpecker and all the other characters that he did. And this is when and then he was so cool, he would take you in the back. And remember, this is like 1960, 61, 62, somewhere in there. So there's no internet and there's no behind the scenes Disney Plus. Okay. There's none of that kind of thing. So everything's a mystery. And Walter would take you back in the studio and he would show you how all of these different artists were all drawing off of model sheets that he had done, and how many people it took to create one of those animated cartoons. Well, I wanted to work for Walter. I even would make up stories and ideas in my head about climbing in the tour bus of some rock group that was coming through town to take me to California. And I was 6 years old, you know. Well, when I was 10 years old, I took all of my best drawings and I mailed them to Walter Lantz. And he wrote me back. And he said this. I had quite a few questions from children and art students before this show, asking if I could bring this up. So I will. How do you do what I do? How do I get to be you? Well, you don't get to be me. It's hard enough for me to be me. But you are the best you that you can be. And if you really want to be good at art, you know, you don't have to be a professional like me. If you do want to be a professional, then you'll work real hard. And you'll cry a lot because people say no most of the time. But if it's like oxygen to you, if it's like air, and it's all you ever want to do, then no one can stop you. Walter wrote me back and he said, you have a lot of talent for a 10-year-old boy. And I know that you try really hard. So that's number one, try really hard. And keep on practicing. And if you never, ever quit, I believe that someday, Guy, you will be a successful cartoonist. Sincerely, Walter Lantz. And you know, within 6 years of getting that letter, living as close to New York City as I did, and being turned down for many, 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 many times, I got hired to do a coloring book for Walt Disney when I was 16, because I kept on practicing and I never ever quit. So for those of you that wonder, what is all the magic about and how do you get to do this stuff? It's because you do this stuff more than you do anything else in your life besides breathe. That's how you get good. And you practice, practice, practice. And you never quit. You know, this is something I get all the time. You know, I used to draw, but I got frustrated and I quit. You know, I used to play the guitar and sing and everything, but, you know, it's really, really hard. And I gave it up and I quit. You notice in all of those things, those scenarios, did the world hate you so much that they made you quit? The world had nothing to do with it. Did your problems hate you so much that they made you quit? No. Your problems had nothing to do with it. You quit you. So if you don't, sky's the limit, man. So,
okay.
By the way, we call that idiot's wisdom.
Yes.
When you've been around the block as long as I have, and you get to my point in the road, you've made every mistake that you possibly can be. So now you're wise. Okay. So.
We do have a question, but we'll take the question after you. We'll take the question after you finish drawing. Unless
No. Oh no, I want your question right now.
All right, because I think Peter's kid. Peter.
Yes, Peter. Kids.
I'm asking him to mute. Do you want to ask a question? I thought I saw your hand up.
No, I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Well. Thanks for blowing my role. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. So, remember what they were? Yeah, I do. Okay. So remember this. Okay. So I'm going to show you once again the exact same thing. Here are a couple of characters that you can draw very similarly. Okay. Now with classic cartoon characters. So remember so Bugs Bunny was that oval. Remember this oval, right? And then we did this, right? Remember that? Okay. Now watch this. So I can do this. Okay. Now let's see, that's a little bit rounder. Right? And then I'm going to have him looking this way. Now, I'm going to put an oval there, an oval there, and an oval there. Now, this is going to be the snout. And so that's like our nose, right? Watch this. There's the cheeks. Here's the smile. Watch. Remember with Bugs how the smile, when it's closest to us, it gets bigger and it gets smaller on the other side? Now watch. Now, one oval here, one oval here, one oval there, oval there. Remember with Bugs Bunny, we did eyebrows? But this time, and you remember we do folds where there's fabric going over the skin. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes in a Half Shell. Turtle power. Remember, if I'm going too fast for you, I want you to raise your hand, and I'll go even twice as fast. Because I'm mean like that. Look at that. Look at the. Oh, what did he just do? That? It was a tube. Oh, that was crazy. Then he put muscles on the tube. Oh, I get it now. Oh, this turtle looks like he's ready to rumble. No, not really ready to rumble. There's a couple more ovals right there. Oh, here's a tube. Oh, there's something or other. Oh, he's not ready to rumble at all, is he? What's he ready to do? That's right. Pizza time. Cowabunga dudes. You like that? If you didn't, that's too bad, because I did it anyway. Oh, I did want to show you. Oh, and by the way, if you can draw one turtle, you can draw them all, right? So, look. And I'm gonna draw a couple of turtles with a couple of different expressions. Watch. Okay, here he is going to be facing straight forward. Okay, I'm going to put this in like that, and then we'll work around it. Now, I'll do this. I'm going to do them all sort of straightforward, I think, so that we can see the different expressions. And then I'll do one from the side. Okay. So we can see his profile. Let's call it profile. Okay, here we go. So that's not going to change. His eye placement's not going to change. So I'm going to do that like that. Okay, where his snout is not going to change. Where his eyes are is not going to change. So I'm going to do that on all of these. Okay, got it? Okay, now let's change a few emotions. We've already seen him happy. So let's do him ready to rumble. What happens when you're ready to rumble? Oh, eyebrows go in, don't they? Oh, boy. But see, the shapes stay the same, see? And remember that he has a mask, and the mask is going to go over his skin. And then we're going to wrap it up. Okay. What if he's sad because there's no pizza? Well, then our face starts to droop, see? Oh, poor Mikey doesn't have any pizza. See, look. Oh, look, even, oh no, even his cheeks are going to droop a little bit. This is a sad day because the pizza place is closed and everything just sort of fell. What? No pizza? You're kidding. I'm gonna cry. Then, let's say he's all freaked out because, like, Shredder just kidnapped April. Well, then we're going to bring all of our emotions out, which means I'm going to make the eyes bigger because that's what happens when we get like excited or freaked out, right? And what happens to our mouth? We go like this, right? Remember that with Bugs Bunny? So we got to do the same thing. Watch. We're going to go, what? I'm going to make his bandana just stand on end like that. And what? What are you talking about? Hand gestures. He's absolutely flipping out. See? And everything about him is going out, you see? You see how we can do different emotions? And then from the side, it's the same look. See, it's the same thing, but we're only looking at. See, so these are the same shapes. This shouldn't mess you up too much. Watch. But this line that we saw here, right? This line right here, the center line is now here because he's facing this way. So all we see is one eye, see? And all we see is one cheek and half of his mouth, see? And you see this right here? We're just going to see that part. Watch. But this is going to stay about the same. And that's going to stay the same. Tie his bandana. And then this bean shape, which is what the turtles are. Remember the tube? So the tube, he's got muscles, right? So we're going to put muscles on the tube. And here's the bean shape. There's his chest plate. Here's his shell back. And there's our turtle from the side. So let's look at that again. Now remember, we were using exactly this and this. Remember? And you can see a lot of similarities in what we're doing. All of our lines where we're placing things for the characters' expressions to happen, you see they're all rounded along the ball, the globe, okay? So let's look. And you see, I'm drawing very, very roughly because I'm drawing quickly. And this is really the way that I work things out. Before I go to the inks, like you saw before on anything, this is all of the drawing that's underneath it. And I draw it with a number 2 pencil. Okay, very, very lightly. And then I start working things in. I'll show you, like I did a, let me grab this here for a minute. So this was me roughing out a big, big picture of April and the turtles and Daredevil. And you can see that there's all kinds of different colors and this and that going on, and me liking things and not liking things. And even as I kept going, you see how in the back, I've got all of these shapes and things to keep me centered. Very, very, like, and I couldn't even decide when I was doing this, which turtle was going to be which, who was going to be holding what. And so if you really look closely, you can see that I was working out all kinds of different scenarios with different weapons and all of that. So, you know, this is underneath all of that really, really, really neat stuff that you see from me. Let me see if I can find a turtle book. I'll find you some drawings of the turtles. See, this is what you see from me. See? And now you know how I do it. Here, let me see if I can find we'll do a Tinkerbell, and maybe we'll do a Pink Panther. See, so here's Pink Panther. And I bet you, if you've been paying attention, you're already figuring out shapes. But you're going, oh, yeah, but Tinkerbell, she's hard. It's different shapes. No, not at all. Now look at that picture of bugs. Even this one. Are you seeing the shapes underneath it and the way that I'm moving them around? Okay, so we've actually done a lot here, and I will draw a little bit more, but I've given you an awful lot of information. So why don't we open up the forum a little bit, Felicia, and see if there are some drawings that people want to show, or do they have some questions, or I want to make sure that everyone gets the most that they can out of this.
Thank you so much, Guy. I really appreciate your generosity and everybody hanging in there with us. So does anybody want to share their art? I see a lot of people were being very attentive during this last time, and I see a lot of people were drawing. Does anybody want to raise their hand and show us what they've come up with? Or if you have any questions about how Guy does things specifically.
And any questions at all?
Actually, I think, Lee, you had a question that was very specific, so let me let you speak and ask it yourself. Lee, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yeah. When you do a lot of drawing for I guess paint and brushes and ink and stuff like that, how do you prepare it so that it can be reproduced for publishing? Because that's kind of where I am. Like, how do you do it so that it can be reproduced and it looks good,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, there are two different ways that we do that. Okay. Now there is the digital way and there is the old-fashioned manual way. Okay. Traditional painting. Now, but the process for getting your artwork onto a book or onto that's never changed. We, whether it's a computer scanning or a camera taking a photo, the photograph is going to be the photograph reproduction of your artwork is going to be the thing that's going to wind up being on the page. When we color, now sometimes I'll do my work this way in black and white. Then we will scan this into the computer, and then I'll have drawn a color guide, chosen the colors that I want everything to be, okay? And so that we have a palette, what's called a color palette of colors that are the things that I want. And I don't actually digitally color myself. So I'll do, like a pencil, a colored pencil thing, and then choose a digital palette from a digital palette. And then that will wind up being colored in Illustrator, and we'll get this. Okay. Now the inside of this, of course, since it's a coloring book, are still just scanned black and white colors. The other way that I've done the majority of my books over the years is, and I've taken this out specifically for you. So this is a book that's now about 30 some odd years old. It's called Just Imagine. And all of my Mud Pie books, the Just Imagine book, the Night Lesson Pillow Fights, all of those books were done exactly the same way. So I would plan everything out in pencil on vellum and go over it and over it and over it. Then I would transfer it using a light instrument like this onto the paper that I wished to paint on. And this is the cover for Just Imagine. I think it came out in 89 or 90 or 91. And this is the original painting. So this painting was photographed, and then the photograph was reproduced on the page. The printing process for color printing has not really changed a lot in all of these years. In that, just like when you're, it's broken up into reds, yellows, blues, etc. And then the printer figures out the way that all of those things match. Newspaper printing and comic book printing is a little bit different in that we have numbers for different colors. But I think that what you're asking about is what I've just explained. Now, the other thing is, and this is very important in the process as well, is once the printer has made what we call a proof, okay, of all of the pages, they send that to me. These days, they send it to me via computer. And I look at all of the images, and if something's too red or too brown or too yellow or too whatever, and it's not true to the colors that I had originally chosen, I get with the printer personally, and we manipulate those colors until they're correct. So I hope that that's helped you. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah, that answered my question. So you have
if
the
it didn't, then I don't know.
Because you have the printer. They do the color work for you. I see.
No.
No.
The printer prints.
Right.
Yeah. The colors we do in-house, and that's what we give the printer.
Right. But they figure it out so that it can be printed and it'll match what you've done, is what you're saying.
you have to get with the printer and find out what formats they want and what they work with, and then you provide it in the format that they're asking for. Okay. So if you're taking photographs of original artwork that you're doing on paper, the old-fashioned way, then you're going to make sure that you're creating files that can be looked at by the printer and understood by the printer.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Okay, yes, I see that my mom has a question, and I see somebody else has a question.
Okay.
Can you unmute yourself?
I would like to ask you, which year the woodpecker came out? Which year?
Which year did what come out?
Woody Woodpecker.
Woodpecker.
Oh gosh. Woody Woodpecker came out in the early 1940s during World War II.
I see. Yeah, because the reason I'm asking is 1954, my father went to United States to study from Taiwan, and he brought a lot of information about the cartoon, because at that time we don't have such things in Taiwan. I still remember Woodpecker. And then he brought back, I was 7 years old then, 1954. And then he brought back the record player, still the small one and the huge hole in the middle, and the Woodpecker sound and everything. So I recall that. And another character is Lucy.
You got to answer.
Yeah.
Lucy has the little girl, a little bit chubby.
You mean either Lulu or Nancy?
Oh, Lulu. I think I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't draw Lulu. I drew Nancy, the little one that's chubby. Yes. The one that you saw that I was showing.
Yes.
That's Nancy.
Okay. I mean, there is another character called Lulu.
I know who Lulu is. Yeah.
Yes. At the same time, that was the time, maybe way before your time. And my father brought those back to Taiwan, and it was so interesting. And I had to sort of show off, to my friend. Yeah. And I have very good fond memory. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoy your show very, very much. Thank you so much.
And was there anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, we asked that people ask very specific questions. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, we're asking people to, if they have questions, to keep it very specific. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I think that we can continue then, Guy.
Okay, well, we're going to finish up. I'm going to just draw a couple more pictures, and then we'll say bye-bye. So, the Pink Panther is an interesting character, and many people really enjoy him. Here's a very simple way to draw the Pink Panther. Now, I'm going to start, with a long tube, sort of looks like a hot dog bun, but remember, so we have a tube. Then I'm going to split this down the middle. We're going to have the Pink Panther looking straight at us. Because, and remember, this tube could be going that way, it could be going this way, So, he's a little funny when we're putting them together. So we have a triangle here. Another triangle here. Then we have an oval. See the oval? Okay, there's the oval. Another oval going the other way. See, this is our center line, see? Now, here's a little bucket. Now, I'm going to place the eyes, but I'm not going to really darken them yet. Just make sure I get them in the right place. Okay? Oh, and I'm going to shorten this a little bit. See, I'm trying to make myself give myself the best opportunity to make this a good drawing. I don't have to stick with something if I see it's wrong. Still not happy. Okay. Now, I'm now going to draw some cheeks. Watch. The eyes are resting on the cheeks. A little cross-eyed. Then there's an oval, followed by another oval. Finish this oval off. Oval, followed by another oval. And then the Pink Panther. See, if I was going to be, this is how I work in my head. See, now I start taking all of that stuff and I start messing with it. See, I go, oh wait, that's way far out there, isn't it? Doink. I'm playing now. Okay, one more. Oh, Lee is here. So Lee, you'll enjoy this. So I'll draw a mud pie. So I have an oval. I'm going to have mud pie look this way this time. And look, you guys will notice this is going to kind of look a lot like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or Bugs Bunny or something like that. But here he goes. This is mud pie, and Lee's a big fan of mud pie. Even if you're not really being able to follow along, I know I'm drawing very quickly now, but I'm going to try to get a few different characters. And again, you'll be able to go back to this and check things out. I'm going to have Mud Pie laughing so hard that his eyes are closed. There's a happy, happy Mud Pie. Isn't that neat that you can bring so much life into a character? The more that you experiment with the things that I'm showing you and the things that you'll learn in the days ahead, should you decide to do that. There he is laughing. Okay, one more magic trick and we're done. Now, watch, guys. Back to Muppets, and then we're leaving. Here we go. So we're going to draw that oval just like we did for Ernie. Remember? Remember this? You guys remember this? Good. I want you to do it 2 times. 1. Why is he making us do this? I'm not. You're under my power. My master cartoonist power. You have no will of your own. You must obey. Okay, so we're doing it twice. Look. Same thing twice. Okay? Okay. Everyone, since you're muted, yell, yes, we get it, and I won't hear you. Good. Okay,
Yes,
here we go. Okay, good. Okay, here we go. 2 more Muppets you can draw with the exact same shapes. Here we go. Round. Okay. Now, see that? Just like with the Pink Panther, I'm going to embed some eyes into cheeks. Okay, just like I did. Now watch. Here's one oval. See, because if I finish that oval, see, it would go all the way like that, right? Watch. Another oval. See, if I kept on going, it would be all the way under there, but there's cheeks in the way, right? Got it? Now, we have a mouth line right here. But what if on that mouth line, we put a whole bunch of fur? And now we have an eyebrow line. But what if on that eyebrow line, we put a bunch of fur? And now we have a smile, but what if on that smile, we made it toothy? 5 small, sharp ones, 2 big, sharp ones. There's the tongue. Remember, we usually see a tongue. The mouth is open so wide. And now here's our shape underneath. But what if all we really could see from the underneath was the rest of the mouth, and then everything else was covered in pink, purple fur? What would that look like?
Rock and roll! Ah!
I'm drawing very, very quickly, you guys.
Animal, 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 animal. Ah.
Now, I'm going to take those exact same shapes that we used for Ernie and for Animal. And now I'm going to make this a little bit longer. I'm going to square it off just a tiny little bit. I'm going to give him a little bit of a shine there. I'm going to color this in. But it's the same shape. Oh, I'm going to color in the eyes. Now, just like with Ernie, I'm going to do an oval. This is Ernie's eyes that we did earlier. Watch. One there. One there. Now, a furry smile. No tongue this time, though. I'm going to get fancy on you. Don't bug me about it. Just drawing a few tubes, that's all. You'll figure it out later. Oval. Oval. See, there's the oval right there. There's an oval right there. There's a tube there. Now watch. I decided to draw Rolf resting because I'll be resting as soon as I get off this Zoom with you. And someone asked me, who do I identify with? I'll be identifying with him this evening. By the way, if you're a Muppet Babies fan and everything, all of these shapes work for them too. Just make the eyes bigger, noses smaller. Rolf the dog here. Sending all my love to all of you. I always make sure that I sign everything as the guilty party. I really hope that you've enjoyed this. I certainly have. And
thanks, Guy.
It's really been a blast, being with you all. I know that Richie's been able to see your faces, and I'll be able to see them when I watch the replay. And, you know, all kidding aside, Zoom is a wonderful thing, because how else could we be all of the different places that we are, and yet spending the time that we do together like this, you know? And Jim Henson, you know, I went to work for him when I was very young. I auditioned when I was 23. And that was a long, long time ago, 42 years ago. And as a young man, I had already, you know, worked for quite a few people, but never anyone like Jim. Jim believed that the characters that he created should, in their crazy, silly, funny way, bring love to the universe. And I found in him a mentor to lead the way. The reason that I always wanted to draw and write stories and cartoons was because I found out that when I was a little boy, if I drew something for somebody and I had no money, you know, but I had a pencil and a piece of paper, even a paper bag or something, I could hand it to somebody and I'd make a friend. That made me happy. And bringing joy to people has always been my number one, because it's what brings me joy. Whether it's my own characters, whether it's Jim's characters, whoever's. The main thing is joy. And love knows no barriers and no boundaries. When God made the universe and the earth, he didn't put dotted lines down, you know. That was man that did that. Love is the only energy that means anything. It's the only one that lasts. And that's what for you. The Muppets, my artwork, and the joy that it represents is for everyone. I love you guys.
Thank you, guys. I want to thank you so much. Guy has very generously offered to donate all of the drawings he's made tonight. A portion of it's going to be going to his favorite charity, which is World Central Kitchen, and also to Talking Taiwan. So if anybody wants a chance to win all the drawings that he's made tonight, you can make a donation to Talking Taiwan that we put in the chat. And Kaji, did you want to have some?
Guy, thank you for your enormous generosity tonight. We all felt the love and the joy in the room from the very first moment.
Yes.
And I still feel tremendous joy that you have emanated and shared with us. Thank you so much. I have one final question. You are amazing at being consistent with drawing all of these different characters over and over and over and over again, and always at a very high quality. Would you recommend that someone who's a young artist learn to draw from memory from the get-go?
No.
No?
No. Memory happens through practice. Okay. Memory, you know, memory is a mental exercise.
Yes.
The reason that my stuff is consistent is because, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of times I've drawn these characters. When I have a new group of characters that I'm learning to draw or creating myself, what I do is I start to draw them in many, many different positions and create what we call style guides and turnarounds, meaning, you know, turn the character around. And I'm very sort of mathematical about it after a while, in that I'll work on tracing paper and things like that so that I can see, once I have the character the way that I want him or her, I'll be looking at the tracing papers and stuff like that, and I'll be seeing, am I keeping consistent with this head shape, and am I moving it correctly? I got a lot of practice in that very early on when I was learning animation, and people make you make flip books. Well, a flip book is based on drawing on paper, and then we're flipping it like this, and we're watching, the entire motion. Okay. And if you've ever done a flip book, then and when you go back look for it, you'll see, oh, gee, this one was way out of whack. I have to change that. So I would have one shoe if you're creating your own character, or you're drawing Batman or something, whatever it happens to be. Keep your reference right there. The most important thing about consistency is that you draw it over and over and over and over and over again, so that your mind is now in a place where you're seeing the character move within your mind, and you're able to transfer that through your hand onto paper.
You are those shapes, those ovals, those rectangles.
For a while, it becomes memory, but I have to tell you that even with me, when let's say I haven't worked on a character in several years, this actually just happened. So I had an event, and people wanted me to draw Nancy, not little Lulu, okay, whoever that was, but Nancy. Anyway, and they wanted me to do Nancy, some Nancy stuff. And I mean, I'd drawn Nancy for 23 years, but I hadn't really drawn Nancy very much in the last 5 years. And so I had to bring myself back into that head, and I had to, meaning not her head, meaning my head, and get back to that place. So, so I drew a few things on paper, made some errors and stuff. And then eventually, of course, I'd drawn, 100,000 drawings of those characters over the years. So very quickly, though, it came back to me. But consistency is what's going to create that pocket, that cupboard in your brain that is going to let you bring life to that character. A really good example of that, for instance, is I'm at these Comic-Cons, and folks ask me to draw whatever character they want. I don't know, Pepe Le Pew or something. And, and I've just been drawing a whole bunch of Muppets. Well, I can't just immediately, even though I've drawn Pepe Le Pew 2,000 times or something, I can't immediately jump into that head. I have to go find that pocket up here in my brain, and then sketch very lightly in pencil, mess around a little bit with shapes. And then I go over to the piece of paper and I start. And that's me, after many, many years. Another thing is that you should be looking at people's work that you appreciate and admire, and find out who they studied from, and find those instruction books. For those of you that are interested in my work and the work of many of the Disney artists and Warner Brothers artists and stuff that you're into, I would very much suggest that you look up the books on creating characters and cartooning and animation that were put out by a man named Preston Blair. Preston, Preston, Blair, Blair. Preston Blair put several cartoon and animation books out in the 1950s. And they are available online and everything today. I get nothing out of this except the joy and satisfaction of knowing that you're going to be a better cartoonist. You can find them easily online. I know that they've stayed in print all of these years, and I studied those books, and all of your favorite animators, no matter who they are, studied with Preston Blair. Preston Blair was with Disney. He worked on the pastoral portion of Fantasia and a lot of other things. And he was with Tex Avery and Hanna-Barbera when they created Tom and Jerry, which of course I worked on, and many, many other characters. So Preston Blair. The main thing about creating that, what you were saying, the memory, drawing from memory, is to practice over and over again. What I find being very a thing that's really a great spark for me is sometimes I'll be drawing characters over and over and over again for a particular project, and maybe I'm 500 pictures in, and I'm looking at it and I'm going like, hey, wait a minute. And because I haven't actually gone back and looked at my source material, whether it was mine or whatever, it's the model sheets, in a while. And I can see that incrementally I've gotten a little off, So I'll go back and re-look at that and fix the problem. It's the same kind of thing if you're playing an instrument. You're playing a guitar and you're singing a song and you're covering, let's say you're covering some, I don't know, Led Zeppelin song or Chuck Berry song, whatever it is, and you've been playing it for so long that you actually haven't listened to the record in a long time. And so you go back and you listen to the original record, and you'll find that your version will get better. You may have strayed, from the original. Okay. So that's always a really good thing to do. I know that when I'm working with Warner Brothers, especially, and Disney, especially, I may stray, from the original look of Tinkerbell or Little Mermaid or whatever it happens to be. And so then I go back to the source material once again, even though I've drawn her for many years. I'll go back and I'll look at that Glenn Keane beautiful drawings of Little Mermaid, and I'll rekindle my relationship with the original.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point, Guy, because playing in a band for so many years and playing cover material, it starts out very close to the original and then it evolves just naturally. And then after doing the same song 4 nights a week for like a whole year, you realize, where did I stray to? And then often I would go back and then relearn the song and learn little nuances that I missed or that evolved away from the original. But
exactly.
That brings up a very good point. So do you recommend that before people develop the consistency and the muscle memory that they draw from a model in order to develop their chops?
Very much so.
Perfect. That makes perfect sense. And then once after they develop a certain minimum level of skill, then they can start doing it from memory slowly.
Well, everyone has their own journey and their way that they're into it. However you want to go. But how you learn anything is how you learn art. There's no, can you do math by memory? No, you can't. Yeah, you can, the stuff you remember, but when you got to get to the next level, you got to read a book.
That's right.
You can
only go so far with the rudimentary memory.
Look, if it was easy, everybody'd be Da Vinci. All right.
Yes.
Or Stevie Ray Vaughan.
My favorite.
Oh, I really want to thank you so much, Guy. I want everyone to know that you can actually also check out Guy's website. And he does do private commissions, and if you sign up to his email list, you can also be in on some special promotions that he does. And so I'd highly encourage you to do that as well.
That is a Guy Gilchrist production.com.
Yeah. Let me write that in the.
We're going to have all of this information in the chat momentarily.
Oops. Oh, no. Let me see. I need to put this.
I'm just amazed. One of my favorite drawings was the last mud pie drawing that you had done. The detail in that, and you were going quickly at that point, just really was staggering to me. It was so impressive. But it just goes to show you that in order to even get to a certain point, you had to repeat something 500 times, 1,000 times, over and over and over. There are no shortcuts, over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You could, and there's no better learning tool than actually practicing and doing it. You could theorize and you could read all of these books, but until you actually, put the pencil to paper, you're not going to develop.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so I just let's let everyone unmute and just say goodbye to Guy, and we'll close for today. Thank you so much, Guy.
Thank you, Guy.
If you want, you can unmute yourself and say hello. Bye, Guy. Thank you so much.
Bye, Guy.
Have a good night.
Hello, Guy. How are you doing, bud?
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Bye, Guy. Bye, everybody.
Guy, me and my mom are a big, huge fan of you. I was wondering if you can be a guest on my show sometime.
Well, send me a letter via our website, and we'll try to work that out. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Guy.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Enjoy.